The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. My name is Paul Solano of the PS&All Marketing Group. This is season number 2, show number 23, and it's happening right now. And I am very pleased to have our newest sponsor back in studio, Mr. Andy Provatola, Environmental Resources. Andy, welcome. Stand. There we go. Standing O there. Andy, welcome.
Welcome, and thanks again, Paul, for having me.
It's great to have you on, my friend.
Looking forward to share what we do.
There we go.
As a company and what I do as in consulting.
Absolutely. It's really great. And in full disclosure, like last week, we're both Malden High class of 1980.
80 does it best.
80 does it best, without a doubt. Well, we have a really busy show, and I see we have a caller on the line. Tim behind the glass. I guess we have Arthur Boyle on the line. Arthur from Pembroke. Arthur.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I am doing well, my friend.
Hey, Arthur.
How are you? What's going on?
Well, we've got the biggest turnout in Pembroke's last 30 years, I'm going to guess.
That's
given
great.
that they're voting on the status of joining the school system for vocational school as part of South Shore Vote. And we're encouraging people to get out and vote. You have one chance at this, and you can hear the horns and things in the background. This is wild for a small town like Pembroke.
That's great.
We're waiting a half an hour to get in some cases to get in to be able to vote. And that's with the early voting. There were 800 votes for early voting.
Well, that's really impressive.
It's very impressive. I have a bias, obviously. I'm in favor, but you can't blame people for either direction as long as they come out and voice their opinions. So we'll see. We'll let you know about 5 o'clock tonight, Paul.
There we go.
We'll give you a message on the voicemail at the very least.
Well, that's awesome.
We'll turn the results into the WATD as soon as we have them.
That's awesome. Awesome, my friend. And wasn't there a vote earlier this week regarding the parents or something?
And it was decided by one vote out of 500 change.
Wow.
Yeah, one vote decided it all. And that's when you hear my vote doesn't matter. It matters plenty here.
Yeah, I saw the crowd out there driving by to the studio just a little while ago.
Well, you got until 5 o'clock to get out and vote.
So. I voted early, so it's all signed, sealed, and delivered.
Well,
yeah.
We thank you for that.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Well, Paul, ponder this. You may have a new high school affiliation by the end of today.
There you go. Works for me, my friend. Well, Arthur, I want to thank you for the call in, and I wish you the best the rest of the way. And also, too, there's an election for select board members, too, right?
Yeah, the select board members and the school committee, which is a seat held by David Boyle now, and will be held for him again. I'm going to guess he's unopposed.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to Brother David on that, and good luck to all the other candidates. I actually received from one of our frequent guests, co-hosts on the show, Christopher Perry. He's running, and he sent out a nice text. Today is the election day. Our campaign journey ends today with a victory, and a new journey for our community begins together. Please make your voice heard. Vote today for Christopher Perry for Pembroke Select Board of the community at the community center. So the polls close at 5 o'clock, right?
5 o'clock it is.
You got it. Well, Arthur, I wish you the best on that, and as always, thank you for being the executive consultant of the Paul Ponders Show.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's all mine. So we look forward to the results today.
Have a great day.
You got it, Arthur. Be well now. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Be well.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Well, I thank Arthur for calling in. And as I usually have a spiel that I go through, but today really is a busy day. And I want to give Andy as much time as possible. And just shout out to Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick and the culinary team at Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden. Hello to Chef Felipe. I know you're taking today off, a well-deserved today off and tomorrow off. So enjoy your family who's visiting. And I always give a shout-out to my team of Chef Eve, Chef Joaquin, Pizziola Moose, John, Nicole, and Don for holding down the fort on this really busy day. And with us, of course, is Tim Behind the Glass.
Yes, happy Saturday afternoon, Paul.
Happy Saturday as well, my friend.
Beautiful weather.
You go racing in with that wonderful, wonderful sound.
Yes.
So what's happening in the racing
We're
world?
in the Monster Mile this week in Dover.
Yeah.
Had the truck race last late afternoon, early evening. Win number 69 of the Truck Series for Rowdy Kyle Busch.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wish his Cup, this lucky he's gotten the Truck Series would transfer to the Cup, but we'll see what happens. But today, 4 o'clock, we've got the O'Reilly Series and a familiar face in the Cup Series. Ross Chastain has the starting first for that. And then tomorrow we have the Cup Series All-Star Race. So not points, but you can get some good money if you play your cards right.
Excellent, excellent.
So Monster Mile, and they get that monster statue on their trophies, too. It's pretty cool. There's a big, massive statue down there. It looks like it's made of rock.
Yep.
And then it's scaled down for the trophies.
Wow,
it's neat. Yeah.
Pretty cool, pretty cool.
It's a tough track. It really is. Just watching them qualify today, some of them slid around a little, and they lost time. It's too tough to tame is what they call it. So
wow,
we'll see what happens.
That is awesome.
Full coverage Wednesday night, Miles on Motorsports, 7 p.m. here on WATD.
Absolutely, and I try to listen in as much as I can. I try to be in the car during that time frame and hear some wonderful chat.
Oh, yeah. Always great with the boys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Tim Behind the Glass, I thank you for being you. You do a great job just commandeering the ship, and we make it happen.
Yes, we do.
Indeed. That's a hashtag, indeed. And Andy, we have a minute or two before we bring Shelley on the line, but how are things going with the business?
The business has been really busy right now with the winter. Had a lot of moisture, now snow had melted. And so what happens, people start smelling odors, and they're like, what's that smell? I smell something from the crawl space. I smell something from the basement. And they kind of ignore it, and then it continues. And once the humidity kicks in, especially high humidity, it's like putting gas on the fire. So, and that smell is usually mold, mold fungi. A lot of people ignored it for years. Really what brought a lot of awareness for mold for us was the Katrina issue back in 2006, I believe it was.
Sure.
Because we grew up, a lot of us grew up with that, and we kind of ignored it. And then, some people experience sickness. They get dizzy, headaches, skin rashes, eye irritations. There are some carcinogens with some certain types of mold. And, we can discuss some of that. But I go in, I'm kind of a troubleshooter consultant, so I do extensive inspections, visual stuff with late state-of-the-art technology tools. We can do air sampling. I do direct sampling or bulk sampling. Different types. It depends on the need. So usually I try to identify what's going on, and then, because it's not necessarily always the whole house.
Sure.
It could be in the attic. And one misnomer, a lot of these mold removal companies, what they do, people like to scare people, black mold. There's a lot of black mold that is not necessarily, quote, toxic or mycotoxic mold. Mm-hmm. And there's a cladosporium type of mold, which kind of is the high, your grass, your shrubs, everything outside. And when your attic, nobody's in their attic cleaning their attic, and they start to discover certain type of mold. Now, if there's a leak going through the roof, then that's different because, that creates a moisture issue, and they may not even know they had the leak. But if you got to take a break at this point, that's fine.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. I do want to go. We have Shelley. I see that we have Shelley Wolf on the line with the PodPro Techie Toolbox segment with Techie Talonzo Amos and Ms. Shelley Wolf, global media firm owner of Toolbox Entertainment, vice president of technology literacy for PodPro. A past Paul Ponders guest, episode number 35 of my 88 episodes thus far. So, Shelley Wolf, you're on the line. I see. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today, Paul?
I am doing well, thank you. Good to hear your voice. I will say in full disclosure, I did happen to see you at Pearl Street Station Restaurant last night.
Yeah, we thought we would try to sneak in and grab a meal.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for being there and all, and it was really great seeing you and also Techie Talonzo.
Yes, we had a great time, and the place was hopping, and, Chef Felipe always does a fantastic job. So
Absolutely, without a doubt. Well, Shelley, won't hold you up. We're running about a minute or two behind schedule, but as always, our listeners just love hearing you and your techie tips and also your myth of the week. And I had sort of given you a heads up that I had Andy coming in studio, so I think you have some techie tips this week.
Yeah, well, I loved hearing that Andy talks about he was using technology to test different things. And what we're going to talk about today is some small tech changes that can reduce waste. So when we're thinking about pollution or waste, most of us think about big picture things like, those plastic bottles, traffic, overflowing trash cans. But here's something that many people don't think about. All the technology that has environmental footprints, like our phones, computers, streaming habits, old electronics, and even those clouds are all using energy and resources behind the scenes. So what I don't want people to do is worry. Today's tech tip is not about guilting you or telling you to go throw your devices away. It's just about thinking about some small changes and then realistic tech habits that we can do to think about reducing waste, saving energy, and even saving some money. So first, let's start with the fact that computers do have carbon footprints, right? Every device requires energy, whether it's your phone, laptop, a tablet, computer, television, all those gaming systems that have been sitting around, any smart home devices. And even when we think about going online or being in the cloud, that's information that have massive data centers that are using enormous amounts of electricity. So it's really important for us to think about streaming when we're streaming videos or storing thousands of photos, that endless email storage, because we just, keep every email in our inbox. It all adds up behind the scenes. And so what we want to think about is now, what does that mean? Do I stop using technology? No, we just want you to be a little bit more mindful. AI is a big topic right now about utilizing energy and data centers, but that's going to be for a different episode. What I really want to focus on is the small changes that actually matter. You don't need a dramatic lifestyle change, just a few small habits that make a difference, such as turn off devices fully when you're leaving or when you're sleeping. Unplug chargers when they're not being used. Like, I know when I leave town, I unplug all my devices, right? Like, I don't want any power plugged in. Lower screen brightness, use energy savings settings, and shut down computers overnight. Just these small actions alone reduce energy and extend life on not only your devices, but honestly, it's actually helping the environment. So many of us think about how do we help save our batteries and hardware to last longer. This is also another way to do that. Another thing is what I find here, especially in America, is we replace our technology like it's yesterday, right? The moment we hear there's a brand new phone out, we ditch the current phone and we go get another phone, right? And where do all these devices end up, right? We need to think about that. So don't fall into the pressure of having to constantly upgrade your device to a new physical device every year. Phones and computers last for a long time. Anywhere minimum 5 to 7 years, right? There's going to be software updates, battery replacements, simple maintenance and stuff that has to happen, clearing storage, but you do not need brand new devices, because what we need to think about is where do these devices often end up once you've replaced them, right? So that's where we want to think about recycling electronics the right way. Old electronics do not just go in the trash. Devices contain materials that can be recycled separately. Things that we can recycle include our phones, batteries, laptops, cords, chargers, printers. All those devices are, can be taken by recycling companies. They are going to be re-put back to use. I know a lot of the phone companies will take phones and they will, distribute them out to other countries for use. Help with people who are unhoused and giving them phones and refurbishing them. So, again, a lot of computers are being refurbished to even support the digital equity divide that exists in this country. We don't talk about that often, but that is another area of conversation that really needs to be happening, is that often our electronics need to go into recycling programs. Many towns and cities do this, so check in with your local government and see what they're doing. Now, for the tech myth of the week, what we want to look at is, if I'm just one person, do my tech habits really matter? And the answer is yes. Small habits multiplied across millions and millions of people create real impact. And many eco-friendly tech habits also save money, improve device life, and reduce clutter. So now digital clutter is also real, right? We've talked about decluttering our digital devices, but even digital clutter engages, like I said, in energy. Those unnecessary emails, all those duplicate photos, all this unused cloud storage that we are required to put things in that we're not using, that requires electricity. So this spring, cleaning for your digital life will actually help as well. So delete what you no longer need, organize those photos, unsubscribe to those junk mails, clean out your tech, determine what tech you really need and where it can be reused, refurbished. And then again, that is what I'm going to challenge you for this week's Green Tech Checklist is turn off the devices fully at night, use energy-saving modes, recycle electronics properly, keep your devices longer when possible, clean out your digital clutter. And this week, again, I challenge you just to do one small tech habit that reduces waste, maybe unplugging unused chargers, recycle an old electronic, or simply just declutter. Small changes really do add up, and with that, I will leave you with signing off with smarter technology use does not just help us, it helps the world around us as we move forward.
Wow. As always, Shelley Wolf, what a great presentation. Andy is nodding his head across the table. Insightful, isn't it?
It is, and I call it the blue light special. I get up sometimes in the middle of the night, or all these lights are on, and it's even a printer, laptops, TV, cable, and I was complaining about the electric bill, and finally I started shutting all these things off at night. I wish I had one switch you can do it, but and I realized
I know we need those clap lamps, right? Where you clap and everything turned off.
Started saving, saving money on all these little things that were adding up to the electric bill. So little habits make a big difference.
They do, and especially at a time of year when we're going to be running air conditioning and everyone's going to be running all these other devices that are going to be pulling electrical sources. We want to try to eliminate as many blackouts, but more importantly, it's really about, again, saving money and really being eco-friendly in our own homes.
Without a doubt. Well, Shelley Wolf, how do our listeners in Paul Ponders land contact you?
Absolutely. They can reach us at podproentertainment.com, and that's info@podproentertainment.com.
Fabulous. And Techie Talonzo is busy doing all sorts of content reels, isn't he?
Yeah, we keep him busy.
Absolutely.
We got him out there doing some more editing today. So,
well, hopefully he's taking this. Hopefully he's taking this special weekend off. I think he's changing a decade. He's moving into a new decade, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna go and hopefully do some stuff wandering around the city, and we're gonna be in Malden today. I know Malden's having their Maplewood Festival. So we're gonna, we're gonna.
Andy is from Maplewood, and the Pines Unpleasant, the Maplewood Festival. It's a happening place.
Happening place, and if anybody's in Cambridge tonight, we're doing a historical retrospective of CCTV. We have a gallery opening over the next couple months, but tonight's its opening. So if anybody's around and wants to stop by Cambridge Community Television, please come on by.
Right on Mass Ave, right?
Yep, right on Mass Ave.
You got it. Well, Shelley Wolf, I want to thank you for being on. You enjoy the rest of the weekend, my friend.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
Hashtag indeed.
Thanks. Hashtag imagine.
Indeed. Thank you, Shelley. Well, as Arthur Boyle says, it's not time to make the donuts. It's time to pay some bills. Let's hear from our sponsors.
Have you tried Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were 3 deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com. What is your home doing to your health? How is the air quality in your home? You can breathe easier with Environmental Resources, an indoor air quality company you can count on, providing healthy solutions for your home or business. Environmental Resources specializes in mold inspections and testing for toxic type molds, mold removal assessments, musty odors, allergens, and excess moisture and dampness. Environmental Resources is a locally owned and established business for over 23 years, located in Hanover, Route 53. Call Environmental Resources today for solutions for a healthy home and healthy people. No mold, no allergens, no indoor pollution. Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975 at airenvironments.com. Again, that's Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975, airenvironments.com for better health. Andy Provatola.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. Call in and text the number here is 781-837-4900, and you could also find us in the Odyssey app, and Andy is shaking his head saying, yes, the answer is blowing in the wind there. And you find many answers, right?
Yeah, and it's right now is allergy season, so I call it the green monster moss.
Okay, there we go.
You get your car wash, and all of a sudden you see the green moss out there, and, for allergens. And allergies are, they're very subtle, and sometimes people think they got a handle on it. One of the things, as far as what I look at with indoor air quality, is that films of allergens, pollen, the trees, the shrubs, they sit on your windowsills. In a beautiful day like today, everybody loves to open their windows. We haven't had a great day like this in a long time.
We really haven't. We really haven't. And at this point, we're going to go into the health and wellness as we talk about the allergies. But this is a very special segment where we have the health and wellness survival tips with Ms. Sharon Filio. And Sharon, you're on the line.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. But first, I'd like to wish my big brother, Trelonzo, a very happy birthday. He thought I forgot. I know it's coming up this Monday. So I wish him a happy birthday. I heard you talking to Shelley about that.
Absolutely, without a doubt, my friend. Well, Sharon, it's great to have you back on the line.
Thank you.
And I have been promoting your Filio Fall Prevention Method on your YouTube channel while you've been singing your heart away at many gigs.
We have. I tell you, it's been very, very busy. So today's topic is tummy fat, or otherwise known as belly fat. And, of course, just to kind of preface, the information today is culled from sources from the National Institutes of Health, the National Library of Medicine, the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, and the American College of Cardiology. So a lot of people think they kind of look in the mirror after their shower and they say, geez, oh, look at my belly, it's kind of getting big. And they don't maybe they see the aesthetics, but they don't really sort of pay attention to the underlying issues that can be what is called concomitant with that. So concomitant is a medical term saying that if you have one thing going on, other things can go on at the same time. Now, belly fat can be one of two or both. You have what's called abdominal fat, which is the subcutaneous fat that you can kind of feel, kind of pinch with your fingers. You know, you kind of, are you pinching your belly, Tim? Is Tim pinching his belly? Okay, you can pinch your belly.
He's not. He's behind the glass. Andy and I are right now, but Tim is lean, mean, dancing machine.
And then what you have is also called visceral fat. This is actual adipose tissue that actually surrounds the organs. I've actually seen this up close and personal post-mortem when I did my internship at a coroner's office, and it's rather fascinating. The fat actually will cover the heart, it'll be over the liver, and it's dark yellow. So anyway, the most sort of dangerous fat is this visceral fat, and this causes, of course, obesity, and it's also linked to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, a lot of bad things. Now, in studies, they have noticed increased mortality or death in people under the age of 65, and interestingly, over the age of 73. So you have two types of issues that can contribute to this fat. You probably heard of HDL and LDL. Mm-hmm. So when you go for your annual exam, they will do something called a lipid panel to sort of see how your lipoproteins are coming in, right? So HDL is the good one. This is high-density lipoproteins, right? Those are the good ones. The bad ones are the low-density lipoproteins. These are the proteins that kind of lend itself to creating plaque in your arteries, right? So this stuff is not good. The HDL, high-density lipoproteins, actually help to, quote-unquote, kind of flush out bad things out of your arteries to keep them nice and clear. Now, one of the ways you can tell, especially at your annual exam, or you can do it yourself, is a measurement called the BMI, the Body Mass Index. You may have heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the formula that kind of takes into account your height and your weight. So these are metrics that physicians look at to see if you are, even if you don't look as though you're obese, clinically based on the BMI, you may be obese and lend yourself towards these rather concomitant issues like diabetes, insulin resistance, heart disease, kidney disease. You may be more of a stroke risk. So all these things are super duper bad. And so I guess you're wondering, well, okay, Sharon, how do we kind of help this, right? So this is multifocal, which means there are a number of things to do. And I like to preface by saying any one of your listeners who is considering going on a dietary program, anything like that, you need to check with your doctor first. Always do that first. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is to go to your doctor and get evaluated to see if there isn't something hormonal going on, like endocrine systems, make sure everything is, kind of working well. And depending on what's going on, they can give you something called, are you ready? Ozempic. Have you heard of that, Paul? Ozempic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, right. Ozempic and Wegovy are both the same thing. It's a semaglutide. The Wegovy has a higher dosing, right? Now, Ozempic and Wegovy were originally designed to get people to lower their AC1 or to help with diabetes. But what they found was that taking these drugs, and it's a weekly shot, reduces your appetite. Now, there are some side effects to this, but by and large, if you work with your doctor and titrate that dose, it can be very effective. In addition to the next kind of focality, right? Walking. Now, it's not just walking to target that kind of belly fat and that visceral fat. You want to walk enough so that you're breaking a sweat, that your heart rate gets a little elevated. So walking on a track slowly is okay, but it's not as effective as walking the stairs in the stadium, right? Mm-hmm. Walking up hills, walking on stand, right? So you want to challenge your body. Or if you have a gym membership, going on the treadmill, you don't have to go fast, but you put the treadmill on a slight incline. So what this does, it helps to start something called lipolysis. What this does, this breaks down the fat so that it's metabolized through a very complex system. And the way you lose weight, are you ready? Is by exhaling. So the final metabolite of lipolysis is by you breathing out. So you actually lose weight after this metabolic process through your breath. People think, how do you get rid of weight? Well, you actually exhale it. Isn't that fascinating?
It is.
It's very fascinating.
Truly.
Right. So in addition to the medicinal therapeutics, Wegovy, now, of course, you can't be a very thin person and do this because it wouldn't be indicated. That's why you have to go to your doctor. But if you use the medicinal therapies, Wegovy or Ozempic, starting a walking regimen, right, you can do other things. So actually targeting the abs, right? So you have several abs. You have the rectus abdominis in front, the transverse and the obliques on the side. You have the lower abs. You have all these things. So you can do something called a plank. Have you ever heard of that?
I have.
A plank. Okay, a plank is where you lie on the floor and you push yourself up on your elbows and you bring your bum and your legs off the floor and you hold it. The goal is to be able to hold it for 1 minute. This engages all the abs at once. It's a wonderful, wonderful exercise. The rumor is that the singer Cher, who is almost 80 years old, can hold a plank for 3 minutes, which is very, very tough to do. So that, in addition to doing crunches, side crunches, that's another one of these heads that help you to reduce belly fat. The other one is sodium reduction. So when you eat fast food and processed foods that are high in sodium, this can cause what's called interstitial water retention. This is what causes bloat. So one of the easiest ways to reduce your tummy circumference is to reduce the amount of sodium in your diet. Now, it's recommended that the high-end 2,300 milligrams per day, they like it to be closer to 1,500 milligrams. So you can shed between 5 and 10 pounds of water weight, depending on your starting weight, very, very quickly. The other thing you can do is, this is something I personally tell my clients. Start to measure your waist. Measure it. Watch those numbers to see where you are, right? So like say if you're exercising, you're starting on a medicinal therapy, you're walking, you want to watch the actual numbers rather than your eyes. This will help you to know that you're going in the right direction. Now, for men, the recommended maximum tummy circumference, I have to say tummy, is 36 inches or 90 centimeters. So again, for men, recommended by the normal adult male, 36 inches should be your max, 90 centimeters. For women, they want you to come in at least 30 inches, right, or 80 centimeters. So that's the goal. And so hopefully by engaging in all of these different sort of modalities, it can assist in bringing that tummy down to nice, safe levels so that those concomitant risks, right, diabetes, stroke, kidney disease, insulin resistance, decrease. Your BMI should be between 18.5 and 25. Generally, BMIs over 30 are classified as obese with classes 1, 2, and 3. Some people, unfortunately, come in at over 100 BMI. These are people who are super obese. This would be 600 pounds, 700 pounds, 800 pounds, and so on. Underweight is under 18.5. So you want to hit that sweet spot, 18.5 to 25. So if your BMI is coming in at 21, 22, 23, you're super good.
Wow.
So I hope that helps your listeners a little bit. Did you have any questions about any of that stuff? I know you're svelte. I know, Paul, you lost all that weight. You're looking good.
Thank you. Well, Sharon, I just want to close by saying there's a huge reason why you are a nationally known bodybuilding champion with your wealth of knowledge and all. So I want to thank you for shedding so much light on this presentation. And how do our listeners in Paul Ponders land reach out to you?
Well, of course, they can reach me through the Paul Ponders podcast, your email, or they can reach me through my YouTube channel, the Filia Fall Prevention Method. As always, I really like to source all of my information so that your listeners can feel safe in knowing that I'm culling this information from really well sourced places. And like I said, NIH, National Institutes of Health, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic. These are the real, just the best of the best that provide information about health and wellness and clinical trials galore. And so I actually read up a little bit on the clinical trials as well when I develop this information, when I cull it for your listeners.
And you do it so well, my friend. And I want to thank you for being on, and hopefully next week we'll be chatting again.
Yes, sounds great. And again, happy birthday, Techie T.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Sharon, you make it a great rest of the day, and I don't know if you're going to go over to Pleasant Street, to the Pints on Pleasant Street. It's from 1 to 5, Malden Chamber of Commerce and Faces Brewery and Idle Hands.
Oh, no.
They have a nice festival, so you may want to go over there and check it out. I think about 400 or 500 people were there last year, and they're expecting 1,000 people up in Malden Square. So
that is amazing. It sounds like it's going to be a really good time.
And it will be.
I have to check it out. Okay,
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
You got it, Sharon Filia.
Okay.
You got it. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Before we let Sharon go, Sharon, hang on one sec. We just got a call from Tom in Hummerock. He is 93 years old, and he can also do a plank for 3 minutes. So way to go, Tom. We love you, man. Keep up the great work.
Tom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Planks is the granddaddy of getting a nice, tight tummy. It also helps in those lower pelvic floor muscles, which aids in incontinence. Those pelvic floor muscles, when you keep them nice and strong, it helps to abate the effects of incontinence as we get older as well. So, yeah, way to go.
Way to go,
awesome.
Tom.
Okay.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for sharing that. Sharon, you make it a great rest of the day, and thanks so much, my friend.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye now. Thank you. Now let's hear from our sponsors before we have a very special guest on the line, holding on the line.
Have you tried Brian Phil Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were 3 deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email Mike at northeasternfence.com. What is your home doing to your health? How is the air quality in your home? You can breathe easier with Environmental Resources, an indoor air quality company you can count on, providing healthy solutions for your home or business. Environmental Resources specializes in mold inspections and testing for toxic type molds, mold removal assessments, musty odors, allergens, and excess moisture and dampness. Environmental Resources is a locally owned and established business for over 23 years, located in Hanover, Route 53. Call Environmental Resources today for solutions for a healthy home and healthy people. No mold, no allergens, no indoor pollution. Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975 at airenvironments.com. Again, that's Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975, airenvironments.com for better health. Andy Provatola.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders. We're going to go right into our call on the line, and he's a dear friend, retired United States Air Force Staff Sergeant Gene Stico. You're back. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks for holding and all. But, Gene, you've had a whirlwind past month or two and all. But let's cover the first release of the UFO files from the presidential directive on May 8th, please.
Yeah, so just for anybody catching up, back in February, President Trump directed all the agencies to begin the process of identifying and declassifying information related to UFO, UAP phenomenon that has been in their files for decades now. We got the first one, as you said, on May 8th, and it's at the Department of War website, so it's war.gov/UFO. And they're going to be releasing these over the next several weeks. I guess the next one coming this week, hopefully, are a lot more videos. But it's a fascinating collection. There's nothing sort of extraordinary in there in so much as things that people who have been researching this for years haven't already seen, but there's much less redaction to what's previously been released. And it paints a fascinating picture of what was going on inside the government. A lot of the documents go from the 1940s and the famous Roswell era through the 1960s, 70s, the Carter administration, and what you see is this struggle between the agencies on who's going to handle what. There's some fascinating memos from J. Edgar Hoover, who receives letters from the public in which he kind of calls people crackpots and things like that based on their descriptions. But the descriptions are, again, very consistent with a lot of things that had been reported previously and a lot of the other reports that were received from all over the country. But, it shows this I guess, position of the FBI trying to pawn everything off on the Air Force and not get involved in investigating it, the Air Force not having the resources to investigate any of it, and then there's a ton of diplomatic cables from around the world, a lot from the former Soviet Union, of diplomats who are themselves having experiences and observations, and the State Department essentially taking a neutral position on it all the way, and things from the White House asking for, who's going to handle this, and nobody seeming to want to take it on.
And Gene, I really find it fascinating that wasn't there some sort of meeting between the government and religious leaders from around the United States? Yeah,
just prior to this release, in fact. So earlier that week, it sort of came out that there was a quiet, I wouldn't say secret, but it was a quiet meeting where representatives from the administration called in a number of religious leaders, ministers, people with large congregations, let's say, from around the U.S. And what came out of that were several of them going online and talking about this disclosure that was coming and what it meant in terms of faith. And some of it was a little what I'd consider a little more extreme, and talking about, are these angels, are they demons, kind of putting things within religious context. We had, the Vatican even made some comments about it. So, that's what I have been referring to in the months leading up to it, is this transition by design, that we've seen changes within the government system and administrations and our institutions beginning to do things to address the UAP issue and phenomenon. Now we see, the religious side of it, and we've also seen our allies beginning to talk more and take similar steps. So we've had Brazil, the United Kingdom, most recently Japan as well, and initiate their own processes for releasing information.
Unbelievable. And Gene, I hate to say, but it is true. This is one of those "I told you so" moments, and you've been touting this, for the past 5 months since you went public with the book Engineering Infinity, and also then coming out with Unconventional, which is a great look at your great career thus far, and with the documentary Infinity Disclosed and all. But I think you had a chance to go to D.C. earlier this week, maybe.
Yeah, so I was there at the beginning of the week, was putting some of the copies of Infinity Disclosed, which is essentially a condensed treatise on my father-in-law's work out of the former Soviet Union, where he reverse engineered a UFO, and the scientific links that I've been able to make between that work and U.S. government programs. So I made the rounds of the Oversight Committee Transparency Task Force that's chaired up by Representative Luna out of Florida. Our own Representative Stephen Lynch sits on that committee, so I stopped by his office to drop off a copy. Our Massachusetts, delegates have frankly been behind the ball a little bit on a lot of this. I also had a chance a couple of weeks ago to sit down with Representative Joe Hoxha of Connecticut. He's in the Connecticut State Legislature, where they're actually have been committing resources to studying and investigating the phenomenon that they've experienced. And, yet here we still have a lot of science, but overall D.C. was great. And then I was there with a partner of mine where I sit on the advisory board of his company, who's trying to address the drone issue, where he's identified foreign drone. He actually recovered materials from a foreign drone operating within the United States. He's managed to engineer that to be able to observe some of the signatures that have been that aren't normally picked up on radar. And he's been trying to work with the government on getting this technology into the right hands. The FBI drone task force that gets out of the Chicago office that has it nationally is interested in this. The Air Force Southern Command is interested in it. But, politics are what they are, and it's difficult to get let's just say the final endorsement that's needed in order to get this technology into the hands of places like the FBI and the Air Force to prevent a major drone incident, carried out by a foreign power here in the United States, and they're all over the place.
Wow. Unbelievable. Well, Gene, how do our listeners in Paul Ponder's land reach out to you as we start to wind down the show?
Yeah, easiest way is the website, engineeringinfinitybook.com. There's information about my father-in-law's work, research papers, and everything else comes from there. So engineeringinfinitybook.com, that's the place to be.
Gene Sticco, retired United States Air Force. Thank you for your service, my friend, and we will chat soon. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, and be well. Thank you, and Andy Provatola, Environmental Resources. Thank you, and we want you back in studio again. We got to make this a habit, all right? We're reconnecting after all these years. You got it.
If I have time in certain areas, sure, I'd love to.
Great to have you on.
Thanks.
So, again, thanks to Tim, Martha, Andy, Shelley, Sharon, Jean, and our advertisers. But really, thank you for listening to #Paul Ponders, #Indeed.